She's obviously very intelligent. She's a very charming individual. She has a background in law. She knows the law. And, those are basic requirements for a Supreme Court justice.
Well, I personally have had only pleasant encounters with Elena Kagan, including when I spoke at Harvard Law School, and she was gracious enough to come to the talk, and which she certainly didn't have to do, and made clear that she's open to various points of view.
But it has been since 1972 when someone has been nominated who was not a judge first. Do you think that that is a real gap in her resume?
No, on the contrary, I think it's a plus. When you look back at some of the great justices who had not been judges before, Justice Hugo Black, Justice Arthur Goldberg, you mentioned Chief Justice Rehnquist, Justice Powell. These are people who had not been judges, and they brought an important viewpoint to the United States Supreme Court that unfortunately is missing when you have 9 judges, 9 appeals court judges, which is what we've had up to now.
But there's an interesting generational change among the women. Elena Kagan has had significant firsts, like the president talked about, being the dean and the solicitor general for the first time as a woman. But on the other hand, this is almost the first woman really who's been named to the Supreme Court based on her professional qualifications and all she's just accomplished in the law. It's a lot more like the men who've been appointed in the past. So it's an interesting turning of the corner. It's not so much about the fact that she's a woman, but just that, the president thought she was the best.
What you see is what you get with Elena. She is confident, she is intelligent, she is short. And you saw all of that today in the ceremony in the East Room. She is, starting when we were 23 years old as first-year law students, she was someone who figured out ways to get along with people of diverse viewpoints. At Harvard Law School in the 80s, it was a very politically polarized place. And on the Harvard Law Review, where we worked, the magazine, lots of people had very different political views, and there were a lot of people who didn't get along with each other. And Elena Kagan was someone who got along with everybody. That is something that has been true throughout her career, whether it's in the Clinton White House or in the Solicitor General's office or in in her brief time in private practice.
Elena joined the faculty of the University of Chicago Law School as an assistant professor back in 1991 when I was dean of the school, and she was a wonderfully successful teacher, smart, tough-minded, independent, very Socratic in her teaching. The students thought her classes were just wonderful, and she was similarly a very tough-minded and independent colleague who participated in a lively and constant way in the give and take of the intellectual life of the law school, where she inherited the situation where the faculty was quite fractious, and she was able to bring together individuals and groups within the faculty from both the liberal and the conservative side who often had been in sometimes bitter relationships with one another, and she was able to bring them together, to work together, to make a lot of new excellent appointments at the Harvard Law School. And in that sense, I think her skills as a collaborator and as someone who could persuade others really shined.